All right, today we are doing the drains. Um, we got the pipe, we got our hangers, we got our chalk line, lasers, levels, hammers, a saw, um, yeah, all that fun stuff. We're going from shit. This is our drain into the sewer, and we'll end on that wall. So I'm going to start from the drain because I feel like that's the right move there. We should have more than that's more nails on that. Should we get? But we should have more than enough height. So I'm going to start from the drain just so I don't get screwed up. We're going to have to go through the closet wall here, which will be a pain. Hopefully there's nothing in the way, but I'm sure there will be. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's about it. You need 1/4 inch per foot, so inch per 4 feet. That's how I think of it. Um, I think we'll end up needing like a foot or something like that of total height, length plus the 10 inches, so like 22 inches in total to get to that wall. And this isn't a big room, like I mean, it's good size. With the closet, I'm going in the closet. I think it's like 13.5 by 13.5 or so, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's a good size room, but it's not, super big like some people's, so just keep in mind, I mean, a foot ish just for 13 by 13. And obviously, I'm not going to the end, I'm just going right there, so it's really like 10 by 10 by 13, but or whatever it is. Because that's the that area is like 3 feet, and that area is like 3 feet because I'm not on the end of the wall. So, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, let's get started. I gotta measure. I got some thumbtacks, so I think that'll be good. As opposed to nail. All right. So we got it all chalked out and everything. We also need to cut the keys and whatnot. But the big things, well, for one, that and that. I think I'll be able to get away with it. Just using this really. The issue is the pipe is going to be over the electrical outlets. But I think I'll be able to get away with using this real, like like the flat style things, whatever you call them, because these sit pretty proud. So I think it should be enough. Hopefully, if not, We'll have to deal with that, and that'll suck. But yeah, it's another pretty big issue. In the closet too, this shelf will be closed. The pipe's gonna be interfering with it. So my dad had an idea of just cut out the section for the pipe and kind of build a little hump thing, as opposed to just cutting the whole shelf out. I don't know. I might cut the shelf. I might not. I haven't really decided quite yet. But yeah. So yeah, that's the biggest things. Obviously, I screwed up my hole there. What I did there was I put the drill bit. I was measuring, these chalk lines are for the bottom of the pipe, where the bottom of the pipe will be, and I put my drill bit where the bottom of the pipe will be, and not the middle of the pipe. So it was too low. Also, there was a stud in the way, so I moved it slightly over and higher. So I have the piece, and I'll patch that back together. And I'm also going to 3D print some little things to go around it to hide it and everything. So I need to take measurements of that too. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing will be this. That'll be the biggest pain. But I also need to cut all of these. So I'm going to get measuring and cutting. Woot, woot. All right. So my phone died, but I managed to get this going. I ended up cutting a bigger hole, but I don't think I had to, because whenever this is up all the way to the top, it still looks like it's higher on that corner. But I poured some water down it, and it all drains. It even drains whenever this is at the lowest. So I think it must be some sort of weird optical illusion or something, because it measures right and everything, but it doesn't. Well, look at it. That side looks way higher, yet the water drains out of that end. So, I mean, I don't even know. It's weird. I don't really understand that, but the water drains, so it's fine. I guess I really don't understand what's going on there. But today I'm gonna be cutting a section off this. And I plan on using a circular saw for that. All right, we're not glued in yet or anything. I don't even have the hiders on. Probably should already put those on. Ooh, and I forgot to account for elbow and that one. Anyways, we're gonna test it. It's not glued up, so it may leak a little. The main thing I'm looking for is, does the water come out of there? And it should, but yeah. This is 3 liters, by the way. I guys have trouble with it kind of splashing out. That little bit of pipe. I mean, it's solved the problem. But if I want to drain into teas with some sort of end on it, probably, or just drill holes in the pipe. And that's something I'm not exactly sure on yet. I guess it'll depend on how many pieces I can fit in the hole, the pipe, the tea. I think if I can fit 7, I'll probably go the tea route, just because I think it'll look. I just feel like it'll be better. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of concerned about it though, because it's like all the water is draining in one little spot, but at the same time, I'm using 3/8 line to fill, so like it's not very much water anyway. So, I guess I guess it'll probably be fine because I poured 3 liters in there in like a couple of seconds. I think 3/8 can maybe do like a minute or something like that if I'm lucky. And then there's going to be the run too, so that'll take up the friction and whatnot will make it less water going through. Is what I'm trying to say there. But so I guess that'll be fine. I guess it just depends on how many pipes I can put in a tea, and maybe I'll get something like that for him too. That. Why do they look so yellow? I guess the sun's setting. Yeah, everything kind of looks yellow. But yeah, I'll see how many I can fit in there, and if I think it's like, I feel like 7's a magic number maybe, because the 10-gallon rack is gonna have, I think, maybe 6 or 7. I honestly don't remember. Because I made it 8 feet long just so I didn't have to cut it, quite frankly. But with that, I don't know. I can't really remember how I did. Hang on, let me measure something real quick because I think I might have screwed up royally here. Never mind, I'm good. I was just measuring to see if the 2 feet plus the 40 grader there was too much for the wall, but not. It should be fine. I mean, it'll go over like a little bit, but not like an inch. It's fine. But I mean, yeah, I think I'm gonna get the hoses and take a look, and I'm gonna do that off camera. I'm also going to put the hiders on, see if they fit and everything, and I think I'll do that off camera as well, just because it's just more of what you saw, right? But Yeah, I think I'm good with this, at least for right now. So, yeah. All right. So I'm gonna be putting some more hangers on. I don't think I'm gonna use a couple in there. I don't think I'm gonna use the tees. I was gonna use them for drains, but honestly, I think three's enough. Like I have one there for like to drain water into if I want a gravel vac or something like that. But I have one drain there for the dehumidifier, and I have a tee there. I think the tee's fine because I wanted it to go up more to the dehumidifier. Have a pipe there, as opposed to just tube run down. I think that'll look better. And then I'm gonna have one there with the elbow, obviously, and then I'm gonna have one here. And I think three's enough. You know what I mean? Because if I'm on this half, I can drain in there. I'm draining some of these 10 gallons. I can drain it in there or there, and then over here I can drain it in there. So I think that'll be fine, honestly. But yeah. So I'm just gonna be putting on more hangers every. I'm gonna try to go like every 4 feet, maybe, or after a connection. So I'm gonna have another hanger there. I'm gonna have another hanger on that end, probably. But, yeah, I meant to get some 3-inch screws because over there it's all meant. The hanger is, and same thing on these ends. It's a little far away, so I was gonna get some spacers. But I forgot the screw. I forgot the fasteners. So I think I'm gonna have to go home and get those and come back. All right, so you can see this is really far out. I don't think that's very good for it. So I'm gonna try taking these off, and we'll see how that goes. Then I'm gonna put a little piece of wood in behind it to, space it out and screw it in with some screws of the correct length. In this case, I think 3 inches will be good. So I'm gonna do that on this side too. I'm gonna put one on, and yeah, probably do one on this side of the tee as well, just to help support it. But yeah, let me get started. All right, I didn't film this part because I was watching a live stream with uh, a tropical fish co live stream with Matt, who is not a part of Tropical Fish Co. Fish family guy. He was just showing around and stuff like that. But anyway, so I got this. I used a chalk line to get it straight, just like over here, and then I measured where I want to put my things. That one's definitely too close to the end. I need to ring. Oh. No, it's good. That's right, because I put it 2 inches away. Right. But yeah. So I got to drill my holes 1, 2, 3, and then I just have to drill 3 holes there, 3 holes there, and 3 holes there, and clean up all the walls because you can see it's a little bit messy, and glue this puppy up, and the drain will be done. More or less. I still need to do the dehumidifier, but I'll do that later. today we're blowing the drains. So, you got to start with that one. I'm not really sure why it cut off right there. It said something, but I didn't catch it. But anyways, that's us all glued up. I'm gonna leave that loose just so I can twist it and stuff, tweak it a little bit. But yeah, man, that's done. Now all that's left is to fill, obviously. But drawing all the tanks and that. But yeah, that's most of the drawing. You can see how much higher we are over here compared to right here. So just make sure you account for that slope. It adds up. But it's right there. We'll be draining our dehumidifier into that tea. I'll probably run a pipe up. We'll drain into that. But yeah, I was gonna put more teas kind of on the corners and stuff. But honestly, if I'm draining tanks over here, I can just go into the main drain there, or that tea there. Kind of same thing with on this side here. So I just don't think they're really necessary. I was going to put them in that corner and that corner as well. But honestly, we're like just a few feet away. It's not really, I just don't think it's necessary at all. I don't think I'd ever use them. You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's it all together. I just realized I couldn't show you this because I only brought one device, but I was going to show you how we're drilling tanks today. We got an Aquilon in 3 of my 10s just because that's what I brought. But I was going to show you how to check if your glass is tempered or not with some polarized glasses. We know these are polarized because I saved it. And I can't because you have to use a white screen because the light is polarized and the blah, blah, blah. But basically what you want to do is you want to get in the dark because it's way easier to see in the dark because there's not the reflections. But you want to get some tempered glass. You know this is tempered because it says it is. And then whenever you'll twist your glasses with your white screen from your phone or whatever in front of it, and you should see like some lines and like some colors as well. And that's how you know it's tempered. And if it's not tempered, it'll just be like completely black. Like looking at this, it'll just be black. You can kind of twist it around, and it'll be from you can see it to like it's black or it gets way darker. But anyways, I guess I can't show you that because I only brought this, which is what I'm recording on. I didn't really think that through. But no aquariums I brought today at least is tempered, so that's good. But we're gonna be drilling these tanks. Let me turn the lights on. There's no point in being in the dark. That's better. But we're gonna be drilling these tanks today. We got a diamond hole saw. I also got like the honing block for it. I just got the cheapest bits I could find. I figured, I can buy 5 bits for the price of 1. So I feel like a fresher bit will be better than a more expensive bit. You know what I mean? But you want to check your hole saw size. See, this like just fits in there. So whenever it goes over, it'll have the depth and it'll fit good because you want it more than threads because obviously I had to stick the threads in there. And I have my chuck set to the lowest setting. I feel like that's a good idea because like you don't want to get like caught on anything, Like if it gets caught, you want it to stop. And this is an electronic chuck, which is worse because it'll go here. Let me show you. Can you see it? You're in my chin right now. I can switch up right here. All right. So you can go. So let's start here. You know, we got our hand on it. And as you can see, it turns every time. And that's because it's an electronic chuck. If it was a manual chuck, it would just stop. But the electronic chuck, it has to go, oh, we're stuck. Let's stop now. Whereas the manual chuck, it just wouldn't do it. And here's a higher setting. This is 9. You see, that's way harder for me to hold on to. Damn, that hurt. But, you know, here we're back at 1. It's much easier. But, anyways, yeah, you probably want... Really, I should have brought a different drill over, but I don't really think about that. I guess I'll do that tomorrow. But one with the manual chuck. A lot of the times the cheaper drills have manual chucks. I guess because they're cheaper. I don't know why the more expensive drills have a worse chuck. Don't really understand that, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, and how you can tell is, you know, like I said, if you have the manual chuck and you hold it, it stops automatically, whereas the electronic, it'll go and then it'll stop. So yeah, you also I have a jig. Let me go get that. All right, so here's the jig. It didn't finish printing. It should have had like a little stopper guy here. You can see the wall where it would have been. But it didn't finish printing, and I should probably print a new one, but I didn't for some reason. I have another thing printing right now, and I want to do this today, so I'm gonna do it. It didn't finish printing because I ran out of filament. He made this kind of not the way I would do it, but you know, it's good. I didn't have to make it, so I'm happy about that. So what I'm gonna do is I just have the piece of this rubber flooring. I butted it up against these 2 screws, and I made sure these screws were level. So the counter's level. We'll put this pot up against the counter. Well, what the hell? Oh, we were on something. Seeing it is pretty level. Well, let's get a bit of a push there. That's pretty good. So that's one of the reasons I'm printing new one. The screws aren't exactly the best thing, and I don't want to like scratch up the tank or anything with the screws. So I got this piece of rubber gym floor left over. So why we have this is A, it keeps our drill in the right spot, and B, it's a water. So we have this soda bottle. It just kind of rams itself in there. That's kind of an interesting way to do that. And then it has this little hole that the water from the soda bottle comes out. My soda bottle, at least, it also leaks from there. So he also said get the 16, and apparently I got a 20. I didn't realize that until I bought it for $3. What a ripoff. So maybe it's a slightly different size. Maybe it just kind of leaks. I don't know why he didn't make it a threaded thing. Maybe he had trouble with it coming out too fast. I don't really know. Yeah, but you want to, whatever jig you print, you want to make sure your strainer is going to fit. You can see I printed these as well. But so I'm going to have to redesign this because I want to be able to drill on both sides. because sometimes I'm going to draw on one side and sometimes I'm going to draw on the other. So I will definitely have to redesign this. That's annoying. Because I need it to be on the tall end, or otherwise it won't fit. And I can't do it this way on the tall end because it don't work like that. Okay, that's something to note. Okay, but anyways, so how I tested it is I butted my jig up against this, and then I took my get this crap out of here. Get this crap out of here too. All right. So there's the hole. So I just kind of middled my thing up with the hole because that's roughly where it'll be. And I made sure it wasn't higher than the rim, and it was also wasn't too low. So I made sure it was in the right place. You know, the strainer, so I couldn't see it. Basically, is what I'm saying. There. So make sure to do that. I'll have to redesign this, so that's kind of annoying. Yeah, I'll probably copy quite a bit from his design. I'm not sure if I'll have it screw on or just do it this way. I kind of feel like there's a reason you would do it this way, because why the heck would you do it like this? But I don't know. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get to drawing these tanks. Let's go outside. Alright, I got the substrate emptied out, and I also put a rubber floor mat from the pizza scrap from the gym floor. In case, oh shoot, I need to get a clamp. Let me go grab that real quick. Alright, I got it butted up. I got the clamp on, not very hard, and I also put a piece of painter's tape under there just because, I don't know, I feel like I should. Alright, let's pour the water. Jesus Christ. I guess I'll just hold, screw it. It ain't gonna work the way I thought it would. And let's get this water. This seems like it's coming out way too fast, but who am I to judge? This fucking thing does not fit. This doesn't fit. Let me try a different one. I don't know why I didn't test if that fit or not. Alright, we're back. I had to sand it a little bit. And just to be clear, I don't think it's like bad or anything. It just, it just didn't fit my bed. Is all that was. I should have checked earlier. You know, all bits are different, all printers are different, everything has a tolerance. All I also, nah, it's still kind of leaking. I tapped the cap in a little more to see if that would help, and it doesn't look like it did. Wasting all my water. Tank cracked. Yup, whole damn tank cracked. That sucks. Damn. Shit. I guess I'll try it with less pressure. I guess. I don't even know what I did wrong. Shit. That's stinky poo-poo. Got it. Didn't break it this time. It's a pretty clean hole. A little bit of chipping. Not sharp or nothing though. Okay, let's get our bulkhead. Yeah, all right. Puck looks about the same. I think maybe because I had a little bit of the weight of my hand on it. Maybe that was, I don't know. Let's get some sort of straight edge here. Make sure. I want a straight edge to make sure of that. Hang on. All right, sweet. Yeah, it's just under it. It should be above this rim as well. I think. Yeah. Dude, that's perfect. Heck yeah. All right. One broke, one good. Let's keep this good cycle going. This is a 3D printed strainer I designed and made, and the pipe. This comes out, goes in. The PET G, so that's why it's kind of bubbling and stuff. Now, the PLA one's printed better, but the PET G is better for water. So and then we have a bulkhead I bought off eBay. These were pretty cheap. I think they were like $3 a piece or something like that. Threading on both ends. I wanted slip on this end and threaded on the outside, but I didn't have them. I asked my local fish store, and it would be $7 a piece, whereas these were like $3. So I'll deal with the threaded. So, and that's why I had to make this, because they didn't have what I wanted, or at least I couldn't find it, especially in black. So threaded on. What I have been doing is threading it on and then putting it in. But I would have put some Teflon tape on this one, because as you can see, they're like draining to the top of the threads here. So I'm going to see if Teflon tape helps with that. I kind of figured they might. I figured it would drain to the bottom of the threads, but it's not. And I figured they would just kind of get clogged up with stuff eventually, and it'd work itself out, which I'm sure it will. But I'm going to try it with the Teflon tape just to see if that's the issue, and it's not like something else. So, and once I get the fill in, won't be a big deal anyhow, because they're getting they'd be getting filled every day, so trying to work itself out. All right, I did like 4-ish wraps of the Teflon tape here, so let's see. So these bulkheads came with two seals. You only need one, and it needs to go on the inside. But since these have two, I'm putting one on the inside, one on the outside, because why not? I guess. I think it's like a backup seal, like if you like lose one or one fails or something. But I'm not gonna like store them because I'll forget where they are. So I'm storing them, on the tank. So. Just get it kind of snugged up. All right, so now I have my tube. I need to cut my tube. I need to put it on one of these threaded elbows here. I believe I got these from supplyhouse.com, or it may have been freshwatersystems.com. I don't remember, but they were like $1 something, like $1.30 or something like that a piece, inch to inch. So I got this tubing. It's 7/8 by like inch and 8 or something like that. By 11/10, so an inch and a tenth, basically an inch and an eighth. But yeah, so we need to put this on here, but it doesn't fit because it's 7/8. I mean, you could probably manage, but it's pretty tough. So I put it in some hot water. I boil a cup of water in the microwave, and then I dip it in, and it's easier to cut. Where is my tape measure? Hang on. Right. I measured it to 5 feet, and then I just take some scissors and I cut it. It's a microwave going on. So all I did is I just cut it. And you want some good scissors for this. If you're using this big of hose. Let me go grab my cup of water. Alright. With the water, take one of the ends. It doesn't really matter. Dip it in. Just a couple of seconds. Get your barb thin. You just ram it on. Kind of work it back and forth. Tubes all common. You want to get it on as far as possible, obviously. Alright, so we got it on. And now I also like to cut the end. And it's easier to cut whenever it's hot. Right here. Just a couple of seconds. And then I want it to be, the cuts to be in line with the pipe. So you kind of figure out where that's going to be. Then I just make 2 diagonal cuts. Neat. You'll never get these cuts to line perfectly. So what I do is I just fold it over. Cut. Fold it over. Cut. So now let me back you guys up. We want to put our Teflon tape on, which I brush out. Let me try to find some. All right, found some. And I'm just gonna do like 4 or 5 wraps. Right? It was like 3 or 4 or something. It doesn't really matter. You want to do like at least 3. And you just screw it on. Let's move this cup. It's kind of difficult with the hose. This is for the, man, there's not going to go on there. But this is for the top rack, so that's why the hose is so long. Come on, come on. I don't think I've ever had this much trouble, but now I'm on camera, you see. Alright, here we go. It spins so I'm going to hold the bulkhead here. Try not to put any strain on it. Man, this hose is so annoying. Let's tighten this bulkhead up. Get back to it. Alright, that's good. You want it to go wherever you want it to go. This one I want it to be straight down. Some of the ones, especially like the bottom ones and stuff, you might want it at a slight angle though. Let's get this screwed on now. Let's tighten up this bulkhead. Alright. So now it's white. You gotta go up top. So far I've only broken 1 out of 15, 16, 17, 18. 1 out of 18. 19, actually. 1 out of 19. And that was my first one. I had my hand resting on the glass whenever I was drilling it. Whenever I went through it cracked. I think that was the issue. I think it was just a little too much weight, you know. Okay, this cord's in the way. We're gonna have to deal with that. These hoses are kind of frustrating sometimes. But you know, I can't see. I need to turn on the regular light. Okay. Look at that thing. I gotta redo how I bring these lights up. Let's do this right now. Oh, that freaking cord. Come on. Line this thing up. Alright, now I gotta. Should have been one of the first things I showed. It's way easier whenever there's not a bunch of aquariums in the way. Who would have thought? We gotta unravel this freaking thing. Need to be on the other side of that. Come on, keep. No, come on. Keep going. Suck up. Come on. Alright, there ain't. Oh no, that needs to be. Probably like over here. Actually, it's where I can put that. You obviously don't want to be there. So I'll put you here. I'm good with that. Seems to line up better. Okay. All right. And that's it. So, you get the what I showed you there. And then all we did was just ram the tube in that little hole. We got that. We made it the right size hole and everything, and it fits like a glove. So, yeah, that's all for the drains. I guess I can show you it draining. Though I don't see a bucket or something, so screw that. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching the drains videos. So it'll, whenever the tank gets to over the strainer there, it drains down into the tube, then it goes into the pipe, which goes all the way around into that. And I did learn if I have the sink on all the way and like several tanks are draining, it will overflow. So I need to be cognizant of that. But yeah, it can be on the sink can be on all the way and it won't overflow. And the tanks can all be draining, it won't overflow. But if you do them both at the same time, it'll overflow just barely. But yeah. So see y'all later.